Hello, this is a continuation of the previous demonstration loading LEI data. Today we're going to load some OFAC data into EntityStream. Before we do that, we're going to make a few changes to the LEI configuration that I showed you before. One of the first things we're going to do is actually going to go in and show you how you can make cosmetic changes to the LEI I've set up. So we can go in there and change the icon that has been used in the display. And we can also change any other attributes like display names, whether the tables are audited for history, whether they represent internal or external data. So just very quickly going to go in there and just take an icon and paste that into the field used for the icon. And I'm going to say that this entity doesn't represent internal data, so that means the user won't be able to change that data in the future. Save that off, and when we come back to the dashboard later on, you'll see that that change has been made already. So the next thing we're going to do is import another data source. On top of our GLEF table, we're going to create a new structure. This structure is going to be called OFAC, and it is from the OFAC list, which you can be downloaded from the treasury.gov website. And I need to specify the XML root node for this file. Now, just a quick look at the XML file will show you that the entries we require from the OFAC file are called SDM entry. So that's the information that I need. I just need to quickly open it in a editor and then paste that information into my root node. It's going to tell the system how to load the data. So when I've done that, I can now specify the primary key field as we did before with the LEI. In this case, it's going to be UID. This is the identifier that OFAC uses. And I'm also going to specify a display field. I'm going to choose last name. Last name is used but in the OFAC data to represent company names. Also going to pick the treasury.gov icon, and I'm going to paste that into my setting for my table. So as you can see, when we search, you can see the difference between the records. And again, this doesn't represent internal data, so we should uncheck that to disable the ability to edit those records inside the product. I can also now add additional label fields. First name is also used as well because this OFAC list doesn't just represent companies or entities, it also represents people. And so it's useful to add into the label the first name as well as the last name. So I've put a position number 2 there for that. If I save those changes off, now that OFAC table has been created in the product. We can go and look at the dashboard and we can see the icons we've just set up. We can see everything has 0 records. Now I need to just quickly go into my concept setup and just use my OFAC mappings. And this just means I have to map the fields in my OFAC table alongside the fields in my GLEF table. It's not a very difficult process. It's just a case of choosing my address fields for my address concept. Choosing address line 1, city and postcode here for that address. I need to do the same for the other 3 concepts we created previously, the registered company number. As you can see, we have the GLEF one there. I'm going to create a mapping here for OFAC. Just scroll down the list until I find the appropriate field. The field is not named particularly easily in the OFAC file. And there it is there. This is the one we're interested in, the ID.UID. And now my company name. Now, as you saw in the file, the company name isn't necessarily just one field, it's 2 fields. Now, with the GLF, it was just one legal name field. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say, right, okay, I'm going to choose my first name and I'm going to choose my last name. Those 2 concatenated together make up the person or the entity's important name field. So we can just map multiple fields to the same concept. And all it will do is it will see there's 2 fields instead of 1. It will concatenate them in this case, and it will then create one single field when it uses for matching based on those 2 fields. So you're having a situation where you don't have to transform the data like in many MDM solutions. What you can do is you can just simply select multiple fields for each of our concepts, and that will do the hard work for us. Going into my company search, again, the same sort of process. I just have to go in here and set up my first name and my last name for my company search concept. Scrolling down the list until I find them. We could also use the AKA fields as well, or we could add the AKA fields in too if we wanted to as part of the concept. In this case, it's not necessary. I'm just going to try and save this off. Okay, so we have everything we need there. we can just review the data, so review the mappings that we've created, just to make sure everything makes sense, we haven't made any mistakes. If you do make mistakes, it's no big deal. You can purge the data out and reload it in again if you want to, or you can just do a rematch and that will have the same effect. Okay, so this is a quick review of that OFAC data so we can see what we're looking for. Sometimes it's useful to understand the structure of the data and scroll around and look in here. I'm looking to see there are first name and last name fields here for people. So that means that that'll work perfectly. So it will match a person up with another person in the system. Finally, I'm going to create a feed mapping. So all this involves me doing is, again, pick my OFAC file, which is my XML file, and I'm going to map that to my OFAC entity table. I'm going to give it a name because I don't want to have to keep doing this every single time I want to load the OFAC data. I'm going to click through and specify my root node for my entity. I don't have to load and match all in one go. What I can decide to do is I can decide to just load and then do match manually later on from the menu. So just showing you there how you can do that. It's automatically picked the fact that you're mapping the XML file to the metadata definition in inside EntityStream. So there's really no work to do here. This is just a confirmation screen. Click next and the process is loading. In the next demonstration, I'm going to show you the loaded OFAC data, the loaded LEI data, any tasks that have been created, and how to search the system. Thanks for watching. Please visit us online at entitystream.com.